Hey guys, welcome back to the WODdoc Project365, episode 124. Super late night here today, guys, so no cool camera angles. I'm here riding solo. Anyway, yesterday we talked about the Thomas test, and we said that we can use it to distinguish and mobilize between two type of hip flexors, one joint hip flexors and two joint hip flexors. For those of you guys that didn't get that, one joint hip flexors are the hip flexors that just cross the hip joint, okay? You basically have two of them. We refer to them collectively as the iliopsoas, but they're actually made up of two different muscles, the iliacus and the psoas major / minor. Okay, that would be primarily your one joint hip flexors, and they kind of just control flexion of the hip. The other two are basically your sartorius and your quads collectively, and they pass the hip joint and they also pass the knee joint. So what they do is they flex the hip, but they also extend the knee as well. And anyway, we used the Thomas test as a way to mobilize the difference between, or mobilize both one and two joint hip flexors. And basically what we had is we brought my buddy Sean Pelusin, who's a super strong athlete, but he's just really short in the hip flexors regions. And I'm not sure if you caught on to a couple things that happened there, but I'm gonna demonstrate them today, and then kind of go over some tweaks to help somebody like him out. Somebody that's super tight and really didn't benefit a lot from the second part. The first part, what we did, pretend that there's a weight below here. I'm just gonna put this here just to show you. What we did is we kind of just wrapped down below his knee, and we put him flat on his back, and he was able to bring this knee up, okay? That worked out for him because his quad tendon was allowed to extend, and his knee extended. He slacked his quad tendon, and he was able to put enough pressure on the psoas. Somebody asked me, they put a question up there, and they said, what's the difference between doing this and a half-kneeling pose? When we do a half-kneeling groin stretch, so to speak, there's two things. One, the spine is loaded, so we have extra stress in the low back. And if you have a hot low back from anything that you might have done during those workouts, it's a way that's going to restrict that mobility, okay? And two, it's really just another way to peel the apple, so to speak. It's another tool in the toolbox to see some people are really that inflexible that when they get up here on this half-kneeling pose, the first thing that'll happen is they'll arch their back, right? So that person could regress or peel back this exercise and have a supported position like such. So now they can contract their abdominal region, place their low back towards the mat, okay? And that could be their reference, so they know that they don't deviate from this point. It's great to do when they don't have somebody else watching them. These mobilizations are all great under supervision, but we want to make them simple and give simple cues for people to do them at home, and they know that they're doing them correctly. If I have somebody that's having a problem in a half-kneeling pose, I'm going to bring them back and peel them back to this exercise because I know I can tell them to do one thing. Listen, Mr. Smith, you're going to bring your leg off the side. You're going to push your back down into the mat, and you're going to hold it there. And then we're going to perform that mobilization that we did yesterday. So he always knows he's doing it correctly, and he's able to get a good stretch into those one-joint hip flexors, in this case, and still get some good performance out of that, or get some good mobility out of that without being a detriment to himself. Okay, so to move back just a little bit, I kind of got a little bit off topic. When we talked about Sean yesterday, he was able to get a good mobilization when we did his one joint hip flexors. But if you guys noticed, when we brought his leg back, that was the one where we got to the two joint hip flexors, so we took up all the slack of his quad tendons, right? What happened is his back peeled up off the ground, right? That's exactly the point that I just made 2 seconds ago, right? So you got hyperextension of his low back, and he really wasn't extending the angle of his hip. He was just bringing up his back. So the angle is still the same, whether I'm like this, or whether I'm like that. So we have another peel back exercise, something that will help him still be able to get his two joint hip flexors, basically his quad with his hip extended, and this is how it goes. What we're going to do, we're going to take this band right here. You're going to loop it on the back side of your leg like such, okay? Then you're going to cross, so it looks just like that. Pinch at the outside of the toe, so it's like such, okay? And then all you're going to do is lay onto your stomach. You can add as much tension as you want, okay? I like to have the cross up as high as you can onto the toe, okay? Now, this becomes really, really simple. All we have to do is have the patient or the athlete just stay planted down to the ground. We're going to be able to now use contract, relax to implement that stretch. Now, I'm pretty flexible in the quad, so it doesn't look as good as it would with somebody that was up here like this. But let's use that as a reference anyway. Using contract, relax, what we're going to do is we're going to kick away about 30% of our pressure while we're holding this band right here for about 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. After that, deep breath in, deep breath out, and relax everything. I can pull if I have to, or I can just use the band to give myself the pressure I need. One more time. Kick against, about 30% pressure. I'm just meeting the pressure of the band. 3, 2, 1. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. And relax. I repeat that 6 to 8 cycles. Now, notice that I did that cross. That's an important point, because if I don't do that cross, then we can have a blooper reel, okay? If I was just to put this around my toe like such, and do it like this, I could possibly hit myself in the face. Probably wouldn't look too good, but you guys would all get a laugh out of it. So guys, if you're that person that gets that hyperextension when we try to do that quad stretch, 2-joint hip flexor stretch, do the peel back, get onto your stomach, set the cord up how we did, and collect 6 to 8 reps on each side. All right? Guys, until tomorrow, we're optimizing function to optimize performance.